Click 1. Sword pommels bind A3DGRs. Dillon E.T approached the opened portal to hell. The air was thick with sulfur and the echoes of tormented souls. His mirrored blades, tempo and rhythm, glinted menacingly in the dim, hellish light. The chestplate of bamboo, string, and denim hugged his form, the wooden A3DGRs securely fastened, ready for the inevitable clash. Dillon's steps were purposeful, each one resonating with the silent determination of a heretic hunter destined to cleanse the unholy. The swords, wooden grips, finely chiseled with intricate 3DGR pommels, seemed to pulse with the energy of the approaching battle. Click 2. Sword grips towards target with behavior dependent on A3DGR number side color. As Dillon neared the portal's mouth, a demonic messenger emerged. Its form was a grotesque amalgamation of sinew and shadow, eyes glowing with a malevolent intelligence. "Heretic Hunter," it hissed, "you dare tread upon the threshold of hell." Tempo and rhythm thrummed in Dillon's hands, their diamond blades poised for action. "I tread where the innocent suffer," Dillon replied, his voice a calm storm. The messenger lunged, but Dillon was faster, the A3DGRs guiding his movements with precision. The pommels, number side color shifted to orange 8, countering the messenger's attack with a counterclockwise twist of the blades, striking with unerring accuracy. Click 3. Return sword grip towards position dependent on pommel number side color. Their dialogue was brief and brutal, interspersed with the clang of steel and the roar of demonic fury. "The monster is near," the messenger taunted, even as it reeled from Dillon's relentless assault. The pommels of Dillon's swords glowed with the shifting hues of battle, each number side color dictating a seamless dance of strikes and parries. Dillon's footwork, a symphony of movement, independent yet in perfect harmony with the blade's behavior, drove the messenger back. With a final, deft maneuver, Dillon disarmed the creature, tempo and rhythm severing its twisted limb with a decisive slash. Click 1. Sword pommels bind A3DGRs. But the battle was far from over. From the depths of the portal, a mob of lesser demons poured forth, their screeches a cacophony of evil. Dillon's chest thrummed with the energy of the bound A3DGRs, the diamond blades of his swords cutting through the horde with lethal efficiency. Each swing, each thrust, was guided by the intricate symbiosis of man and 3DGR, the number side colors of the pommels shifting rapidly in response to the chaotic combat. Dillon's wooden grips never faltered, his resolve as unyielding as the diamond edges of his blades. Click 2. Sword grips towards target with behavior dependent on A3DGR number side color. In the midst of the fray, Dillon's focus remained unbroken. The demons fell around him, their numbers dwindling as his swords moved with lethal grace. The pommels, number side colors flashed green 9, the blades whirling in a clockwise orientation, cutting through the demonic flesh with unparalleled precision. Dillon's movements were a blur, his body a conduit of divine retribution. The A3DGRs on his chest glowed with an otherworldly light, empowering his strikes, guiding his defense, each motion a testament to his unwavering faith and indomitable will. Click 3. Return sword grip towards position dependent on pommel number side color. As the last of the lesser demons fell, the demonic messenger lay at Dillon's feet, disarmed and defeated. Its eyes burned with a hate that transcended its wounds. "You have won nothing, Heretic Hunter," it spat. "The true horror is yet to come." Dillon's swords retracted into their resting positions, the pommel's number side colors fading as the immediate threat subsided. He stood over the fallen messenger, the weight of the impending battle heavy on his shoulders. From the depths of the portal, a more malevolent presence stirred, its shadowy form hinting at a power far greater than any Dillon had faced before. Click 1. Sword pommels bind A3DGRs. The air grew colder, and the ground trembled. Dillon E.T, the heretic hunter with diamond blades, prepared for the coming storm. His grip tightened on tempo and rhythm, the 3DGR pommels binding once more to his chest. The battle was won, but the war had only just begun. The portal to hell yawned wider, and from its depths, the true monster began to emerge, a cliffhanger of dread and anticipation hanging in the air. Click 1. Sword pommels bind A3DGRs. From the depths of the portal, the Balrog emerged. Towering and wreathed in flames, its presence dwarfed the fallen demons. The beast's eyes blazed with ancient malice, its whip crackling with infernal energy. Dillon E.T stood his ground, tempo and rhythm ready, their diamond blades reflecting the hellfire. The wooden pommels of his swords, finely chiseled with intricate 3DGRs, pulsed in resonance with the A3DGRs on his chest. The Balrog roared, a sound that shook the very foundations of hell, and advanced. Click 2. Sword grips towards target with behavior dependent on A3DGR number side color. With a thunderous clash, the battle commenced. Dillon moved with blinding speed, his footwork a dance of life and death. The Balrog's whip lashed out, but Dillon's blades intercepted, their diamond edges cutting through the infernal energy. The pommels, number side color shifted to blue 3, guiding his swords to advance with celestial precision. Tempo and rhythm struck in unison, their blades finding gaps in the Balrog's fiery armor. Dillon's movements were a blur, his strikes imbued with the power of the A3DGRs, each motion calculated and deadly. Click 3. Return sword grip towards position dependent on pommel number side color. The Balrog retaliated with a ferocity born of millennia of hatred. Its fiery sword cleaved through the air, but Dillon was already in motion, the pommels of his swords shifting to red 2, guiding his retreat with celestial red shifting. The Balrog's attacks were met with deft parries and counterattacks, Dillon's diamond blades carving through the flames. Despite the beast's immense power, Dillon's resolve never wavered. The pommels glowed with the shifting hues of battle, each number side color dictating a seamless flow of offense and defense. Click 1. Sword pommels bind A3DGRs. As the battle raged on, Dillon found his rhythm. The Balrog's whip cracked like thunder, but Dillon's swords met it with unyielding strength. The A3DGRs on his chest glowed brighter, their power coursing through him. The wooden grips of his swords felt alive in his hands, the pommels binding once more to his chest. With a roar, Dillon lunged forward, tempo and rhythm cutting through the flames, their diamond blades singing with divine purpose. The Balrog staggered, its fiery form flickering as Dillon's relentless assault continued. Click 2. Sword grips towards target with behavior dependent on A3DGR number side color. The tide of battle began to shift. Dillon's swords moved with unparalleled grace, each strike guided by the A3DGRs and the shifting number side colors of the pommels. The Balrog's once overwhelming power now seemed diminished, its fiery armor cracked and broken. Dillon pressed his advantage, the pommels shifting to green 9, his blades whirling in a clockwise orientation. The Balrog roared in pain as tempo and rhythm carved deep into its infernal flesh. Dillon's movements were a symphony of destruction, each strike a testament to his unwavering resolve. Click 3. Return sword grip towards position dependent on pommel number side color. With a final, earth-shaking roar, the Balrog unleashed its full fury. Flames erupted from its body, the inferno threatening to consume everything. But Dillon was undeterred. The pommels of his swords glowed with a brilliant light, shifting to orange 8. In a counterclockwise motion, Dillon's blades intercepted the Balrog's fiery onslaught, cutting through the flames with divine precision. The beast's power waned, its form flickering as Dillon pressed his attack. With a final, decisive strike, tempo and rhythm plunged into the Balrog's heart, their diamond blades extinguishing the infernal fire. Click 1. Sword pommels bind A3DGRs. The Balrog fell, its body collapsing into a heap of smoldering ash. Dillon E.T stood victorious, his mirrored blades glinting in the dim light. The A3DGRs on his chest hummed with the energy of the battle, their power still resonating within him. He sheathed tempo and rhythm, their pommels binding once more to his chest. The portal to hell began to close, the threat vanquished, at least for now. Dillon turned away, his mission far from over. The Heretic Hunter with diamond blades had triumphed, but the war against the forces of hell was just beginning. Click 1. Sword pommels bind A3DGRs. Dillon E.T exited the closing portal, his heart still racing from the battle. The air outside was a stark contrast to the hellish environment he had just left, cool and refreshing. The weight of tempo and rhythm in his hands felt reassuring, the diamond blades now sheathed, their pommels securely fastened to the A3DGRs on his chest. His chestplate of bamboo, string, and denim bore the marks of the intense combat, but it had held strong, much like its wearer. Dillon's eyes scanned the horizon, always vigilant, always prepared for the next threat. Click 2. Sword grips towards target with behavior dependent on A3DGR number side color. The landscape around him was a stark reminder of the ongoing battle between good and evil. Ruins of once thriving villages dotted the area, their silence a testament to the devastation wrought by the forces of hell. Dillon's resolve hardened, he knew his mission was far from over. As he moved through the desolate terrain, his mind replayed the battle, analyzing every move, every shift in the number side colors of the pommels. The A3DGRs had guided him with precision, their power a vital part of his combat strategy. Click 3. Return sword grip towards position dependent on pommel number side color. The memory of the Balrog's defeat was still fresh in Dillon's mind, but he knew that complacency was a dangerous enemy. His swords retracted into their resting positions, the pommel's number side colors fading as the immediate threat subsided. Each step he took was deliberate, his footwork a reflection of the rigorous training and the divine guidance of the 3DGRs. Dillon's wooden grips remained firm in his hands, their intricate carvings a constant reminder of his purpose. The journey ahead was uncertain, but his resolve was unshakable. Click 1. Sword pommels bind A3DGRs. As Dillon made his way through the remnants of the battlefield, he encountered survivors. Their faces were etched with fear and desperation, but upon seeing the Heretic Hunter, a glimmer of hope sparked in their eyes. Dillon knew that his presence was more than just a symbol of resistance, it was a beacon of hope in these dark times. He offered words of reassurance, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the chaos they had endured. The A3DGRs on his chest glowed faintly, their power a silent promise of protection and strength. Click 2. Sword grips towards target with behavior dependent on A3DGR number side color. The survivors spoke of another portal, one that had opened in a nearby town. Dillon listened intently, his mind already formulating a plan. The description of the new threat matched the patterns he had encountered before, suggesting a coordinated assault by the forces of hell. With a nod, he set off towards the town, the weight of his mission heavy on his shoulders. Tempo and rhythm thrummed with anticipation, their diamond blades eager for the next battle. Dillon's footwork was swift and precise, each step bringing him closer to the next confrontation. Click 3. Return sword grip towards position dependent on pommel number side color. Arriving at the town, Dillon was greeted by chaos. Demons roamed the streets, terrorizing the few remaining inhabitants. Without hesitation, Dillon charged into the fray, his swords moving with deadly efficiency. The pommels, number side colors shifted to blue 3, guiding his advance with celestial precision. Each strike was a calculated blend of offense and defense, the A3DGRs on his chest empowering his movements. The wooden grips of his swords felt alive in his hands, their intricate carvings resonating with the energy of the battle. Dillon's resolve never wavered as he fought to reclaim the town from the demonic horde. Click 1. Sword pommels bind A3DGRs. The battle raged on, the streets echoing with the sounds of clashing steel and demonic roars. Dillon's swords moved with a fluid grace, each strike guided by the shifting number side colors of the pommels. The A3DGRs on his chest glowed brightly, their power coursing through him. The demons fell before him, their numbers dwindling as he pressed his attack. Dillon's focus was unbroken, his determination unwavering. With each swing of tempo and rhythm, the town's salvation grew nearer. Click 2. Sword grips towards target with behavior dependent on A3DGR number side color. In the midst of the battle, Dillon spotted a figure commanding the demons. It was another demonic messenger, its form a grotesque blend of flesh and shadow. Dillon's eyes narrowed, recognizing the true source of the chaos. He advanced with purpose, the pommel's number side colors shifting to green 9. His swords whirled in a clockwise orientation, cutting through the demonic ranks with unparalleled precision. The messenger turned, its eyes locking onto Dillon with a mixture of surprise and malice. "Heretic Hunter," it hissed, "you will not stop us." Click 3. Return sword grip towards position dependent on pommel number side color. Dillon's response was a swift, calculated strike. The messenger's attacks were met with deft parries, each motion guided by the power of the A3DGRs. The pommels of his swords glowed with a shifting light, each number side color dictating a seamless dance of offense and defense. Dillon's footwork was a symphony of movement, his body a conduit of divine retribution. The messenger's form flickered, its power waning under Dillon's relentless assault. With a final, decisive strike, Dillon disarmed the creature, tempo and rhythm severing its twisted limb with unerring accuracy. Click 1. Sword pommels bind A3DGRs. The messenger fell, its body collapsing into a heap of shadow and sinew. Dillon stood victorious, his mirrored blades glinting in the dim light. The A3DGRs on his chest hummed with the energy of the battle, their power still resonating within him. He sheathed tempo and rhythm, their pommels binding once more to his chest. The town was safe, but the war against the forces of hell was far from over. Dillon turned away from the fallen messenger, his mind already on the next battle. The Heretic Hunter with diamond blades had triumphed once again, but his mission was unending, a perpetual struggle against the darkness. Click 2. Sword grips towards target with behavior dependent on A3DGR number side color. As Dillon left the town, the survivors watched with a mixture of relief and gratitude. They knew that as long as Dillon E.T walked the earth, there was hope. The Heretic Hunter's journey was a lonely one, but his resolve was unbreakable. With tempo and rhythm by his side, and the power of the A3DGRs guiding his every move, Dillon E.T would continue to fight, a relentless force of divine retribution against the forces of hell. Click 1. Sword pommels bind A3DGRs. The victory in the town was short-lived. Dillon E.T sensed a new threat approaching, a dark presence that sent shivers down his spine. The air grew thick with an unnatural tension, and from the shadows, the demonic cephalopodous arachne descended. These grotesque creatures, a nightmarish fusion of cephalopod and arachnid, moved with a sinister grace. Their multiple eyes gleamed with malevolence, and their tentacles writhed menacingly. Dillon tightened his grip on tempo and rhythm, the wooden pommels binding once more to the A3DGRs on his chest, ready for the impending battle. Click 2. Sword grips towards target with behavior dependent on A3DGR number side color. As the demonic cephalopodous arachne swarmed the town, their screeches echoing through the streets, Dillon sprang into action. Tempo and rhythm hummed with energy, their diamond blades reflecting the pale light. The A3DGRs on his chest guided his movements with precision, the pommel's number side colors shifting to blue 3, signaling an advance. Dillon's swords cut through the air with celestial blue shifting, each strike aimed at the heart of the demonic horde. His footwork was impeccable, a fluid dance of lethal grace as he targeted the abominations with unerring accuracy. Click 3. Return sword grip towards position dependent on pommel number side color. The battle was fierce and chaotic. The demonic cephalopodous arachne lashed out with their tentacles, but Dillon's swords moved with a life of their own, parrying and countering every attack. The pommels, number side colors shifted rapidly in response to the combat, guiding Dillon's movements. As he struck down one creature, another took its place, the swarm seemingly endless. The pommels glowed with a shifting light, guiding his blades to return to defensive positions with celestial red shifting. Dillon's resolve never wavered as he fought to protect the town from the monstrous onslaught. Click 1. Sword pommels bind A3DGRs. Amidst the chaos, Dillon spotted the matriarch of the Cephalopodus arachne, a towering beast with a grotesque crown of tentacles and a body covered in chitinous armor. It directed the swarm with a terrifying intelligence, its eyes locking onto Dillon with a predatory gaze. Tempo and rhythm thrummed with renewed energy, the wooden pommels binding even tighter to the A3DGRs on his chest. Dillon knew that defeating the matriarch was the key to ending this nightmare. He steeled himself for the confrontation, his diamond blades ready to pierce the heart of the beast. Click 2. Sword grips towards target with behavior dependent on A3DGR number side color. With a roar of determination, Dillon charged at the matriarch. The A3DGRs guided his every step, the pommel's number side colors shifting to green 9. His blades moved in a clockwise orientation, each strike aimed at the creature's vulnerable joints. The matriarch lashed out with its massive tentacles, but Dillon's swords intercepted, their diamond edges slicing through the appendages with precision. Dillon's footwork was a blur, his movements a symphony of divine retribution. The matriarch shrieked in rage, its form recoiling under Dillon's relentless assault. Click 3. Return sword grip towards position dependent on pommel number side color. The matriarch fought back with a ferocity that tested Dillon's limits. Its tentacles struck with the force of a hurricane, but Dillon's resolve was unbreakable. The pommels of his swords glowed with the shifting hues of battle, each number side color dictating a seamless dance of offense and defense. With each parry and counter, Dillon's blades returned to defensive positions, their celestial red shifting guiding his every move. Despite the matriarch's immense power, Dillon pressed his advantage, his strikes growing ever more precise. Click 1. Sword pommels bind A3DGRs. The battle raged on, the town caught in the midst of the infernal clash. Dillon's swords moved with a lethal grace, their diamond blades reflecting the flickering light. The A3DGRs on his chest glowed brightly, their power coursing through him. The wooden grips of his swords felt alive in his hands, the pommels binding once more to his chest. With a final, determined push, Dillon lunged at the matriarch, his blades piercing its armored hide. The creature let out a deafening screech, its body convulsing as the life drained from it. Click 2. Sword grips. Towards target with behavior dependent on A3DGR number side color. As the matriarch fell, the remaining demonic Cephalopodus arachne scattered, their coordination shattered. Dillon wasted no time, his swords cutting down the fleeing creatures with relentless efficiency. The pommels, number side colors shifted to orange 8, guiding his strikes with a counterclockwise orientation. Each swing of tempo and rhythm was a blur of motion, the diamond blades carving through the demonic flesh with divine precision. Dillon's movements were a symphony of destruction, each strike a testament to his unwavering resolve. Click 3. Return sword grip towards position dependent on pommel number side color. With the last of the demonic Cephalopodus arachne vanquished, the town fell silent. Dillon stood amidst the carnage, his chest heaving with exertion. The pommels of his swords glowed faintly as they returned to their resting positions, the immediate threat now gone. The survivors emerged from their hiding places, their eyes filled with gratitude and awe. Dillon sheathed tempo and rhythm, the pommels binding once more to his chest. He knew that this victory, like the ones before, was but a fleeting respite in the ongoing war against the forces of hell. Click 1. Sword pommels bind A3DGRs. The town began to stir with life once more, the survivors rallying to rebuild. Dillon offered them words of encouragement, his presence a beacon of hope. The A3DGRs on his chest hummed with a residual energy, a silent promise of protection. Dillon's journey was far from over. He knew that the battle against the darkness would continue. With tempo and rhythm at his side, and the power of the A3DGRs guiding his every move, Dillon E.T prepared to face whatever new horrors awaited him on the horizon. The Heretic Hunter with diamond blades stood ready, ever vigilant, ever unyielding.